What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. My name is Stephen Melin, and I hope you're having a fabulous day here on Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. It's kind of weird to think that we are almost at the end of the year here. This year has flown by so fast for me. I'm not sure about you. It's just been a wild roller coaster. I'm so excited about today for multiple reasons, but the main headline event here today is I am working on a brand new album called Lylat Mission. This is my arrangement of Star Fox 64 for live orchestra. So if you've not heard about this yet, I'm really excited to tell you about it. And since this is going to be the first live stream dedicated to this topic, I do want to explain it a little bit more than I might in some of the later streams, but just so everyone's on the same page, there's a link in the description below that'll take you to the pre-launch Kickstarter page. So let's pull that up just so I can just show you briefly what the heck this is all about. So Lylat Mission, Star Fox 64 live orchestral album. This is Nintendo's epic space adventure recorded live with a full 100-piece symphony orchestra and choir and produced as a modern game soundtrack. So I encourage you guys to go through there, read through it. This is placeholder art. This is not the official art that we're going to be using. I do have a dedicated artist who's going to be working on this. Super pumped about that. You can actually go through and listen to some of the examples of some of the tracks you've already worked on. But the main points here is what we're going to be doing is running this Kickstarter in early 2025 with the hope and intent of raising a whopping $50,000 goal so that we can have a digital download, we could have exclusive CD with album artwork, exclusive vinyl with album artwork, and then even a limited edition 6-panel CD with the album artwork. It describes a bit about who I am and maybe why I'm a good candidate for making this crazy project. Here's the full track list. This is the original Star Fox 64 soundtrack. It is only 22 tracks out of the total 30 or so, but those are kind of the main ones that we'd love to focus on. And then kind of scrolling down here, you can just kind of see the whole production timeline. You can check out what we're doing with the Budapest Symphony Orchestra. It's going to be 16 hours across 4 different sessions of strings, woodwinds, brass, and choir. And here's the big old budget breakdown and why all that stuff matters. But notice one of the big angles here is we have to pay for licensing, mechanical licensing, to make sure we're doing this legally in the right way, just to make sure everything's covered. We're going to be doing 2 different stretch goals. The first one is be able to knock out the entire soundtrack, to get all the way to 29 tracks, making it a full 60-minute album. I really want to make that happen. That'd be incredible. And we can, some of the fan favorites are probably right here in the versus tracks, the warp zone, training mode, etc. And then I'd also love to get us to 100K, which allows us to make music videos out of all of the tracks with 4K cameras and doing the whole editing spiel. And then we kind of go through the whole team here. It's not just me. I am doing the arranging, the mixing and mastering, but besides that, there's a whole team here. We have Catherine Nguyen doing the orchestration and sheet music. She's the one that makes all the magic happen from the DAW that we're going to be showing today and getting that all the way to the orchestra. We have Jonathan Maloney. He's going to be doing some incredible album artwork for the cover, to like the digital distribution, the CDs, the vinyl, and an album artwork poster. Really excited about all of that. We have Matt Everett helping out with all the album administration side. Obviously, the Budapest Symphony Orchestra, contracted by Musiversal. They'll be doing all the recording, 16 hours worth. And then over here locally, where I'm at in Georgia, over in Athens, Georgia, we have the Classic City Vinyl Works, which is an incredible high-end vinyl production facility. That's all they do. They do it to the highest degree. It is expensive and amazing, and they handcraft every single vinyl individually with their really cool splatters, and it's just super cool, and I really want to make the vinyl happen. I think that would be absolutely incredible. We have disc makers doing the CD production, easy song licensing with all the licensing, and of course, good old legal disclaimer, everything talked about here on this stream and anything associated with this project. Star Fox 64 and related Star Fox properties are 1997 Nintendo Company Limited. I am in no way affiliated, associated, authorized, endorsed by, or any way connected officially with Nintendo Company, and basically everything here, musical compositions, they're all originally Nintendo's, and I will be using them all with appropriate mechanical licensing, all paid for in advance before anything happens officially with digital or physical releases, and the term Lylat Mission trademarked by Stephen Melin Audio LLC. So all that to say, I'm excited. I'm really excited. We're going to have so much fun here today and in these future streams, just kind of reliving the childhood. Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games of all time, one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. There's so much great stuff to talk about here. But what I really want to be reserving these streams for is I have a lot of tracks to arrange. I've already done several. And what's so fun about this, though, is in these live streams, I really want to just kind of take you guys along for the journey. I can't possibly show you all 22 tracks. It's too much. But I can show you some of them, maybe half of them. We can kind of walk through together, and you can see my process. But the process is simple, but complex. Can I say both of those at the same time? It's simple, but challenging. Maybe that's the better word. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking the original soundtrack and arranging it for an ensemble that it was not originally intended for. Because if you go back to the N64 sound chip, it was very primitive. It's actually incredible what the composers were able to do with this. Truly, with the effects of reverb and delay and panning, that's really their secret sauce. But if you go back to the original chip, they kind of only used about 4, maybe 5 patches in a piece of music. So what that means is the entire string ensemble was one patch. The entire woodwind ensemble was one patch. Brass ensemble, one patch. Percussion ensemble, one patch. They didn't even have choir, and I'm adding choir to all of these to make them more epic and adventurous. But really the fun here is I get to take the original instrumentation the best I know it to be, but I also get to embellish it quite a bit by rearranging. I mean, it's just the kind of orchestration and arranging at its finest, right? I'm taking the original and I'm putting my own spin on it so that it all sounds consistent and all sounds great at the end with live musicians and mixing and mastering. So really pumped about this. And so if you jump into my session here, here's a track I finished up recently. This is Sector Y and Solar. And something you'll notice inside my DAW, and I'm rocking New Window here. You'll notice I have painstakingly gone through each of the tracks of the 22 that we're planning to record. And I certainly will do the same thing if we add the remaining 7 tracks. What I've done is I've gone through and I've actually tracked out how many measures every single track is. And that includes the BPMs, that includes the time signatures, and at times I've also put, markers to kind of indicate where things happen. And I've done that against the original soundtrack, which kind of has its own complications. If any of you know that the original N64 sound chip, like everything was played inside the console, and it's actually slightly different every time because it's like a live performance of that data. It's not even MIDI data. It's whatever the proprietary software inside was reading it. So what that means is when you listen to a soundtrack from that era, based on if it's a European versus US console versus you'll actually get some pitch variation, you'll get some speed variation. So I actually took the original soundtrack to Star Fox 64 and lined it up to some of the MIDI data that I was able to extract. That's a whole other process. But by putting all those things together, they actually did not line up. And so I've actually had to do quite a bit of time stretching and time warping and quantizing to make sure that all the beats line up, not only with the MIDI data, but also the original as well, that when they line up, it all works with looping and that kind of stuff. So I may not show all of that process, but basically I want to show you at least the steps from, like in our case today with the opening theme, the very first track. We know that it's 120 beats per minute, so I already have it all mapped out here. It's 4/4 time. This one's actually one of the simplest tracks in the entire soundtrack versus what was it, Katina I was doing yesterday. Katina is an absolute nightmare. Look at this. 6/4, 3/4, 5/4, 3/4, 4, 5, 3, 4. It's like it changes time signature literally almost every bar. And it sounds super cool and it's interesting, but it's like all over the place. Very 20th century orchestral, like almost Stravinsky sounding. And then some of these other ones actually change tempo during the track itself with some retardandos, which we'll have to figure out doing all that stuff live. But it's fascinating. So here I have all the things. And a lot of them change time signature halfway through. And this is the kind of stuff that I had to map out first so that now that I'm jumping in and actually arranging them, it doesn't screw up the entire timeline. It doesn't ruin all my tempo. Because look at my tempo map here. It's not that complicated, but there is a different tempo for every track. And some of them are very specific, like 153 BPM. But what's interesting is in the original N64, it may have been 153.0000017, which doesn't sound like it'd make that big of a difference. But by the time you go through 20, 30 bars of music, you're actually a full 1 or 2 beats behind or ahead. And so that's where all the time stretching comes into play. Because in a live orchestra, we have to choose a tempo. And so I did my best to choose a tempo that kind of averages out the entire track. And they're always within 1 or 2 BPM of the original. But we have to settle on something, right? So there we are. That's kind of the technical side. But what we're doing today is we're taking, in this example of the opening theme, we're taking what is now MIDI data. It was not MIDI data inside the actual N64 game. But what we've done is we've converted it into a file that, a MIDI file essentially, so that Sibelius could read it. Then I opened it up and edited it so that it was one tempo. It had some instruments applied to it. And then when I exported it back as a MIDI file, it now locks perfectly into the grid that I've already created for every track inside my DAW. So it's a little bit of, super technical audio stuff, but I'm just a geek for this. I love it. It's super interesting. And now that I've done all the hard work to set it up, now I get to have the fun of arranging. So there you go. There's your spiel. And the other thing you should know is I have a template here that I've built specifically for this soundtrack, which is based on the exact musicians I will be recording. So for example, 4 trumpets, shorts, 4 trumpets, polylegato, 6 horns, right? French horns in F. We even have 1 bass trombone doubling the tuba, all the way down with woodwinds, strings, 20-20 choir. So that means, 40 singers in total, 20 men, 20 women. We will be using MIDI for the percussion because in a practical sense, it would not financially make sense to record the perc in the same room as the other ensembles, because if they make one mistake, you got to do another take, and we don't have that kind of money. We're trying to do this on the lowest budget possible, which 50 grand sounds like it's a lot, but we easily could have gone to 100K just to do the recordings with everyone in the same room. It's just the way it works. So anyway, all that to say, let's do some music, shall we? Let's start off today just for fun. What's up? We got RioST, got Marie, we got others hanging out in the chat. Will you say hi, please? I want to see who's here. Hi. I'm glad you guys are here today. Let's play just a little bit of Sector Y and Solar, just so you can kind of get into the mood of Star Fox 64. This is a track I've already arranged. Here we go. There you go. That's how this works. It's simple again, but it's challenging. This is taking all the skills I've ever developed over my years of being a composer, producer, arranger, orchestrator, and it's like having to do all of them at the same time. I love this so much. I'm having a blast with it. It's crazy how well this process is working, and the final result's going to be stunning, especially if we can get this recorded with a live orchestra and choir. It's just going to be chef's kiss. I can't wait to put the needle on the vinyl. Woo, it's just going to sound so freaking classy. So well produced. I'm so excited about that. So, by all means, hey, if you have not followed the Kickstarter pre-launch page yet, please go there. It's a button. You click it. And all that means is it's going to notify you of when it's officially launched. You can officially jump in, choose a reward tier, and back it. That would mean the world to me. If any of you know any press that would be interested in covering this, I'm going to be reaching out and trying to make this as big as possible, a splash as possible, because we need about 1,000 backers to make this a reality on average. That's a lot of people to put their money where their mouth is, and that would just mean the world to me. So I love this soundtrack so much. So that's kind of the vibe we're going for here today. And you'll notice that this arrangement was identical to the original, plus some doubling of instruments. It had the choir, it had the woodwinds that weren't there originally. It's kind of the best of both worlds. I'm trying to honor the original track and the original loop point and all that kind of stuff. That way it feels like the original, so that the end goal here is the soundtrack itself that we produced together. I would love to take that and actually turn it on and play it with the original game, so that it loops so seamlessly and it's all cut in such a way that, just like any video game, right? The assets are there, they're ready, and it could actually be put together and the whole thing's represented. I just think that'd be super cool to have a modernized version of one of my favorite games of all time. So anyway, that's how that process works. So that one's done. Let's now do the main event here today, which is the main theme. I haven't done the main theme yet, so we're going to be focusing right here today. It goes here. This is actually one of the only tracks that does not loop. Most of these loop, but since this is part of the opening cinematic, it has a start point, it has an end point. And let's take a look at the MIDI data that I've generated. It's so cool that this exists. Like, this is literally from the game itself. This is not a fan arrangement. This is the actual data that Koji Kondo-san actually put into the machine, which is unbelievable to me. That's why it's not perfect. Like, this is a roll. This is not perfectly quantized. He probably played it in himself, or programmed it that way. And what's interesting, this is actually a fun fact, this intro is in the game file, but not in the official soundtrack. Like, this is what actually plays in the game, not the soundtrack. So all that to say, it's like the legit version. It's the OG version. So here we go. This is not going to play very loud. Maybe I can choose a different MIDI instrument so it's not so janky. Because remember, MIDI, you can assign anything to it. Let's find some kind of strings. Let's do just strings ensemble. You can barely hear it. But you see how it's super panned to my left? Now let's grab all of these. Let's solo all of them. All right. It's barely playing. Let's go to the good stuff. Those are all supposed to be strings. This is like a glockenspiel. One thing I can't do today, and I'm not going to do in these streams, is I can't play the original audio files. I don't want to breach any kind of legal issues with Nintendo soundtracks. I know better. But this is the original timing and everything. Boom. You can kind of hear it. This is just Sibelius's best guess at what the instruments are. It's very wrong, but you can like visually see it, how these are all brass stabs. There's a string melody in here, and then down here, this is probably the timpani and snare. So it's visually very easy to separate it. But look how imperfect the MIDI files are. I love it. Like, this is how it actually existed in the wild. This is not cleaned up. So I'm over here geeking out with you, if anyone cares about this stuff. This is literally the original. But I'm not gonna use the sound font. I'm gonna rip that. I'm gonna do it my own way with the, real orchestra. Anyway, you can kind of get a guess here about what each instrument's gonna represent. So the first thing that comes to mind is, let's grab the timpani. It's one of the more obvious tracks here. Don't always know what the instrument is because these are just randomly assigned. So it's not going to be the melody, right? It's going to be whatever the beat is on box. Maybe it's this. Nope. That's got to be it. Or strings. Yeah, because these two right here, this has got to be violins, and this has got to be like cello and bass right here. So here's what we're going to do. Literally take it, slide it up, because I've already have my whole template ready. And this is going to be a series of multiple things. So what I like to do as a starting point is go ahead and I might, just for a quick and easy, I'm going to call this strings ensemble legato, or like sustained. I don't think I've done that yet for the whole ensemble, just to kind of make this an easy transition between the two. So I'm going to take Metropolis Arc. No, I'm not. I'm going to use Helix. Why not? Let's just use something free, easy to use. Where are you? There you are. String ensemble. We'll do sustains like that. Just not as the final, but as a... Oh, yeah. Let's go and chop this. Notice how it's not quantized, so I actually have to take my quantize off while doing this. So this is going to be short strings. Yeah! Ooh, baby, let's go. That's so cool! Also, you gotta be careful. A lot of these have panning in them, so I'm gonna reset the panning on every track. Sounds amazing. Cool. That's pretty tame. Let's grab the other strings, which is this entire track. Cool. Same thing. Let's break this up. So we want high strings on top, like that, just to kind of visually separate it all. Let's make sure that strings at the beginning. How cool is that? And we're all perfectly on click and everything. It's great. Koji actually went in there and programmed all the velocities already. come in. Because I can't use the original data 100%. It will never sound right. So here, that's a long note, so we'll pop that into there. Same thing goes right here in the lows. Just take it, pop it, put it into there. So yeah, we just gotta make sure that the mod wheel is up for all of this. A lot of this is tweaking automation. I can hear that these are actually pans. They shouldn't be. Look, I didn't even put that in. That's actually Koji's automating, which is so cool. I feel like I'm working with him, you know? Spiritually, anyway. How weird the panning changes, too. That's something you gotta watch out for. But this is pretty identical to how I've arranged with many other A-list composers. This is what they do, is they write their music in a DAW or with MIDI, whatever, and then this is what you do. You get their session and you just start messing with it because you're working together, you know? There it is. Let's get it just right. Top note needs way more love. Probably all the way till here, which is going to be the first violins versus the seconds. Remember, you know, Kondo-san was using the limitations of that software, so he had to make certain notes louder that in real life don't need to be louder and whatnot. So I have to work to what sounds good now. Alright, sounds pretty good so far. Now let's keep going by moving down. I still want to find that timpani. So we got rid of the strings. Let's see. Is it the FM synth? I think that's the one. Yeah. Probably why it sounds so weird and out of key. So let's move that guy up to our timpani, which is a heavy hitter in this soundtrack. Let's actually just move it up like this. That sounds right. There's no way. That must be that's the harmony of this. So what I'm sensing is that that's not the timpani. That's actually trumpets and horns, like this. Let's test it out. Yeah, you gotta test this stuff out. this part's right. Now let's take this, start separating it out a little bit. It should work by grid. So all I'm doing is taking the long notes. There we go. Hello, hello everyone. Nice to see you. Samuel, I'm glad you're here. This is a little bit of a process, but not too bad. Then all I do, let's go like this, select all, oops. Select all of the long notes like this. Pop them down. And then just make sure, once they're all connected again, that the panning is situated to 0, because you know these VSTs are already panned naturally by being recorded in a hall, etc. Let's see what this feels like. So we just gotta beef these up a little bit. Just for the extra attack, I might keep it. I am trying to make sure I'm orchestrating it for the live ensemble, even if there's a small sacrifice in quality on the production side. What's up, Matt? What's up, Sarah? Welcome. See if the trumpets can handle, of course they can handle it, but would it be wise to do both like this? Gosh, it already sounds so good. Brass today for this whole soundtrack is I'm using it's called the ADO New Century brass. It's this right here, and so I just pull up the individual patches that I want. It's probably super cheap on sale right now for Black Friday time of year, so it's my favorite brass for realistic sounding brass, very classical sounding, which is what I'm going for. So these poly brass, these need a little boost here. And also, yeah, everything should be settled. Cool. So one of the reasons this is sounding so muddy is because I'm just using giant orchestral ensemble patches. But now let's actually start splitting this up a little bit. So this is my violin 1 patch. It's going to really help with the mix and everything. So let's do this. Let's copy it into violin 2. But so this is going to be violin 1's only. Basically just going to go through and nix all of the lower stuff. So this entire thing right here, really, really good string writing. This entire thing right here will have to be an overdub. So I'm going to actually just steal it and pop it into a track that I'm calling Violins Short Overdub, because it's going to be a separate take where all the violins play and then we just layer it on top. That way we're not having to worry about the mix of that particular moment being way too quiet or too loud, whatever. And then I just get rid of it in the rest of this. So the violin 2 section now is just going to be this lower part, which is the lower octave. That should look and feel balanced now. That's what it sounds like. Well, let's take all that off. Feels a whole lot cleaner. And this is going to be violas too. So like right here, we want that to only be top line first. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to hit every other. Okay, and then right here, that'll be just first violins overdub, and then right here, let's just keep the top half when it splits. I mean, just keep the bottom half. There it is. Okay, so now that's done. I can copy that and put that into the second violins, and this will just have to be just for the split. There. So the bottoms are going to be here. It'll sound cool. Alright, now back to the singles. This is violin 1, so let's keep just the top. And then down here, violin 2, let's just keep the bottom. Like this. So this is technically arranging and orchestration all at the same time. Arranging is turning it into my own thing. Orchestration is deciding which instruments get what. So I'm going to try to do as much of the orchestration as possible, but I do have an orchestrator who will take this at the end to then make it even more practical and readable and legible. And then there's another process of the sheet music called the copy work, the copyist. This is way too quiet. Right, so this just needs to move down this way. It's 4-part harmony, so we just got to split it up. Violins, I'd rather have the split, and then I want violas and violin 2 to do the other split this way. That way it's as balanced as possible, because I'm going to have more first violins than anyone else. They can split in half without feeling the weight of the loss. Tokyo scoring strings is screwing up for me, so let me reload it. What is that? It's a D. Come on. Alright. I think in this moment, I'm going to go back to what I had, which was the strings sustained like that. There we go. Please stop recording. There we go. So far, so good. Cool. Now, let's go down here to the cellos and basses. This is actually really, really simple because it's literally just octaves the whole time. My kind of writing. I probably learned that from Koji Kondo-san, because that's just something I do religiously in my music. I write a cool cello line and I just double it with the bass an octave lower. So double bass, pretty simple. Just take all this information and I'm just erasing the tops, keeping the bottoms, and vice versa. So here's the with them. Let's crank them up. Sounds good. I never realized these were in there. Love that dum 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 dum. This has got to be the timpani line. I still haven't found it. It's got to be it. I'm just kind of looking through these tracks. It's got to be. So here's what I'm going to do. Don't think it's this guy. This has got to be a harmony in the trombones. We'll play with that in a second, but let's take, this is pretty typical writing too, is to take the double bass short notes and just put those in the timpani. see what that does. Oh yeah, Corneria theme is the best. I've actually already done that one, but I gotta redo it now that I've changed the whole session around. That was the first one I did as like a demo. It sounds cool. Here we go. Let's keep that timpani nice and light, reverberant. Cool. Maybe a little bit more velocity. I just want a slight bit of that hard hit mallet. That sounds good. That's gonna sound awesome with the double bass as well. So the double bass, if you have a timpani going, you don't want to overload the low end of the strings. That way it's nice and balanced and full. And that's what the timpani helps to do. So here it is with it. That already fills out so much. It's gonna be so cool. I feel like that's the time to add the choir. Let's do this. Let's grab our stuff right here. Really just need that. Let's pop that down to the choir. Like this. Combine it all together. Do a little double action like this. Make sure everything's locked in. I mean, obviously, they're not going to sing all that. The thing with choir is you can't overload the syllables. So probably be like, it's possible if it's called a melisma when you go, nah, it's where you like do one syllable. Shabba-dabba-dab-bum. It's doable. It wouldn't be like separate syllables. It'd be like la, la, fa, ska, whatever. might jump the octave on these. Nah, it's too high. I don't know. Let's keep playing. So we have this whole intro, and then so that's where we need to have the maybe that's trumpets. That's what it is. Okay, I've already made a grave error. Trumpets and horns can't double each other. It's just too much. So we need to have this counter melody, and that's going to be the trumpets. Yeah, that's it. So, thanks for telling me, guys. See, this is the fun of the experimenting. Just kind of playing around, see what works, what doesn't work. So what I'm doing right now is chopping off the long notes to put them in their own patch. And then when we do like the MIDI export and everything for orchestration and really the sheet music side, the copy work, I'll combine them all together into one track each. That way it's clean and easy to read and all that. But for our purposes now, it just makes a whole lot more sense to keep them separate, or you get the best articulation for each. Like this, it's easy to copy paste. But as before, you got to make sure that they're all one MIDI region. Like this, and then just make sure that the volume's up, the modulation's up. Here's what it sounds like. Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Here we go together. That sounds better. Antiphonal, you know, left versus right brass. Yeah. It's up even. Take it down. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna try to chop all these little regions. That'll sound cool with the strings. Chugging back and forth like this, grabbing all these little regions. Again, it's not perfectly quantized, so it's a little harder to chop it up, but really not a big deal. That's why I like doing it on this screen, because then... Oh, there's a little bit more. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da... Wait. That's definitely trumpet line. Okay, so now... Let's grab these guys here. Boom, 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 da-ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Looks good, especially as the, you know, poly trumpets. It means I can play chords without losing my legato, which is nice. Or this should be horns. Yeah, because they're not doing anything. Might be better suited for horns. Yeah, it is better. It'll cut through better. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's the melody. It's hiding. Again, this is part of the orchestration. It's just deciding what goes where. So this needs to go into the horns. That way that can be the counter melody. This is a pretty tricky track today. There's so much going on. All right, let's keep rolling. All right, so we have this going on. What is this? It was like a big pow. So maybe this is part of the strings. Let's see what happens when I load it all up together. What's going on? Is it just low strings? I don't know what that is. So let's take a gander and let's do another patch of sustained strings to kind of discover what this is. Blob. I like it. Alright, let's get the Glock rocking. I might have this recorded live just to keep it cool. I know a Glock player. Is it too low? Oh, it's just an octave too low. That's all it is. Here we go. Cool. I'm feeling like this was supposed to be sustained throughout the duration because it's the same chord, it just keeps happening. So I'm wondering because it's identical 1 2 3 1 2 3. So let me chop one of those. Let's see if we can keep it going as like that. That's probably the intent because maybe there's a parameter in N64 I wasn't aware of that had it like, yeah, like that. Because it's a C. I'm wondering if this would be better with a low C. Like that. Oh no, this is the low note. Boom. Where's the low? Boom. What's the high? Oh, there it is. So that's the low note we're aiming for. Now I understand why this was chopped off. Okay. Hey, I'm just trying to understand what's happening here. That actually makes perfect sense. Because there's these low notes here. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Have our percussion. So this is gonna be snare drum for sure. Don't know where the rest of it is. So for now, we're gonna focus on the snare drum, which is obviously this part. This low, this you can kind of see it. There it goes. Top stuff. I might have to go back and listen to the original, but pretty sure that these are crash cymbals. Let's go ahead and take those out and put them where they belong. Give them a couple crash moments. Like that. Cool. And then the snare drum, I believe, is programmed up here. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, it's not soloed. Haha. Let's find it, guys. Cool. So a couple things. We need to make sure our main volume is up, not too up. And then make sure our mod wheel, whoops, I meant to add it down here. Mod wheel is like 100% because that's where the snare roll happens. Ooh, that sounds good. To do this. That would sound really cool in the choir. So let's take all of that, the horn stuff, because it's just a cool little line. It's very intense. Let's put it all together here. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. Sneak it in. This is missing some. Hold on. We're close. Trying to get these to line up. Here's the context. There it is. Cymbals cranking. I bet these are panned. Alright, I think what's happening is my velocities are too low. There it goes. It's getting way too loud. Let's do this. Cool. Cool. Sounding very good. Make sure that's a full 3 beats for everything. So this is part of the orchestration as well, just kind of deciding on what's the final length of things and making everything uniform, you know. 1, 2, 3, off. Cool. Alright, so I have all the MIDI routed. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to take a quick coffee break. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm going to come right back to this. I want to restart new window. It has a little bug that's bothering me. That usually is fixed when I reset it. So don't go anywhere. Be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the live composing show. Hope you're having fun today with this Star Fox 64 arrangement album that I'm working on called Lylat Mission. So if you have not yet followed the pre-launch Kickstarter, please go do so. There's a link in the description right there. Go click on it, quick little follow, and what that does, it just notifies you whenever there's updates to the campaign, and it'll kind of give me a head count of who all is interested in bringing this thing to life. It would mean the world to me, so thank you so much. I think this is going really well so far today. Trying to knock out the main theme here, the opening theme for Star Fox 64, turning out really great so far, so let's jump back into it. I actually reset. Hey, what's up, Anthony? I actually reset new window. It was just having a bug. I squashed it, so we're all good to go now. Let's play what we have. Already sounds better. Alright, I can already tell this thing. I don't like how this resets like this, so I'd rather just have it extend. That was very much a N64 MIDI thing. Because I want it to stop right here at bar 8. Again, I have to make some creative decisions of how to translate N64 data, because remember, it had reverb and delay and panning and stuff that I'm not going to be using. So I have to take the original data and manipulate a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of a decrescendo here in the main volume, like this. Kind of like he did in the original, Kondo-san. Super cool to be working on actual data from, like, this is from the game. This is not an arrangement. I mean, it's my arrangement now, but this is actual data from the original game. I don't know if anyone's ever done this before. It's kind of wild. Boom. Okay, because, see, this is the original data. I don't like how it fades out. I'll do like a... let's see, 1, 2, 3, off is what I want. Everything to be 3 beats and then off. So I'm going to do like a little fade out so it's not so abrupt. Yeah, like that. Same thing over here. Let's make sure it's an even 3 beats. Same kind of thing. We'll do a little fade out and then crank it back up in the next part. Like that. Boom. And then it's just, psh. I think I want to do a crash cymbal as well that wasn't there in the original, just to help give this a little bit of surprise. Where'd it go? Cymbals. So here we go. Let me copy one of these, pop it over to the main theme portion. Probably not as loud though. There it goes. Maybe instead of a crash, we'll do a, you know, like a little swell. Something a little bit more of a transition and less abrupt. Like the original just jumps into it and it's a little startling. Let me find a good patch. That's a good one. Just gotta hold it down for a little while. Cool. This is turning really nice. This is really where the main theme comes in. So I'm going to type in brass melody. And this is really just like the intro. Like that. stellar. All right, now let's add some orc chimes. Not in the original, but it's a staple of my orchestral writing. Especially big space adventure, gotta have orc chimes. We're in G major. I'm not even sure what scale that is. It's a G with an E flat. So it's actually... I've never written that scale. I don't even know what it is. It's like C minor. C major with an E flat. So I don't know. But it sounds cool. It's very modal. It's a very Koji Kondo-san sound. He wrote the main theme and like the end credits and some of the few themes in between, but Hajime Wakai-san did the rest of the soundtrack. I guess, no, the whole thing is actually in... So weird. Okay, then it's just a G major without the F sharp. What is that called? I know it's one of the modes. It's a major scale without the sharp. It's weird. Thought the raised seventh. Flat seven. So a flat seven is what you'd call it. Whatever. So Mixolydian. Isn't that what Mixolydian is? I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But I've never written it, and it's typically you'd write like Lydian mode. That's what it is. It's C Lydian. Whoa, he's a genius. I mean, we all knew that, right? Oh, so cool. Let's explore, yeah? Let me grab my piano. This is super cool for anyone who likes music theory. Ew, why is that panned? Gross. No, sir. Not allowed. Let me fix that. Okay. Sorry. Anyway. So what's happening is it's actually a C Lydian. So typically, or no, F Lydian, because it's a sharp 4. Oh my gosh. My brain is breaking right now. Okay, so the go-to tunes when I think of Koji Kondo-san is I think of the Song of Healing from Zelda Majora's Mask. It's all white keys, but it's in the key of F. It just, instead of the B flat, we use a B natural. That's what gives it that alien but pretty sound. Right? So same guy, he also wrote Lost Woods from Zelda Ocarina of Time. Same notes, actually. Which is kind of cool. That's why it feels so happy but mystical. Instead of... it sounds stupid if you take off the sharp, right? But anyway, same guy, so he wrote this now. But it's actually... See? And then it modulates. Oh my gosh. I have to analyze this. It's like, it's so cool. Okay, hold on. You are... Sorry about that, guys. One of my kids needed something. Here we go. But yeah, I just think that's super interesting. So, anyway, let's get this moving. All right, this part, I want to make sure. Back to the G chord. I want to make sure that this. So here, I just want to do some like block chords. Let's figure out what these are. F, C, G. These are all parallel fourths. What they tell you not to do in school. So what's happening here is it's called quartal harmony. Stacked fourths. Sounds so cool in brass. So what I want to do is hold those out in the choir as we're going here. Why are my men singing an octave lower? I don't know. Anyway. I'm gonna blast the sopranos. Sorry, ladies. They can totally hit those notes. I've made them do it. And it'll be really epic. Okay, that's gonna be freaking epic. choir, I gotta make sure I'm not really doubling the whole thing, but only like the most important beats. Like that, like just kind of emphasize the beats. This is Freya Choir and Wotan. This is both from Strazov sampling. Check them out. They usually have really good Black Friday deals. Go check it out. You might like it. They're very expensive and they're very good. So. Okay, let's edit that a little bit. These need to be really precise and probably all need to be like dead on 3 beats each. Yeah, when it comes to sample libraries, I hate to say it, but it's like, if you're not using the best, don't use anything. Like, just use the worst and be fine with it. Quality matters. Sounds good. Let me edit this other choir part so it's not. It's never gonna work in that speed. So. Dun 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 dun. Take that. Da. Cool. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Like this part needs to just kind of sneak in. It's way too loud. These are all probably gonna be muted strings anyway. All right, let's get some doubles in here. All right, so I have all the basic information, but now we gotta start, arranging a bit more. I think the beginning's fine, just strings and Glock. That's kind of the expectation. Maybe harp would help a little bit. Let's go through for a second and kind of get it back to normal here. Let's get our mod wheel up, our main volume up. Let's do a timpani roll. We'll do it all the way to the third beat, and we're going to do a really dramatic mod wheel crescendo like this. It's going to rise this and then have a big old spike at the end. Same thing with the snare down here. I'm just gonna copy it actually. That'd be faster. So just take the timpani roll, copy it right there. And I think it's C. That one. So it needs to start like here and then go up. Couple important doublings here that need to happen. Definitely gotta get some woodwinds involved. I definitely want them. So I'm literally just gonna take the string writing here, which should just be these guys, like this. That should suffice. Those two. if I put those right here, like in the flutes, and the lower would be the clarinets, so we'll double the flutes in the oboes. Take the clarinets, double them in the bassoons. And theoretically, that should work right off the bat. So let's do the woodwind soloed. There we go. Because the whole section will be playing, I don't have to worry about breaths. They'll just stagger breathe is what it's called. Why is this one being so weak? That I don't know. Let me maybe reload that patch real quick. My bassoons, maybe it's the wrong octave for him. Seems to be an error in this. Let me fix it, please. So it doesn't sound like trash. There he goes. So let's take this. Okay, so it happened here too. Okay. Oh boy. Did I? This is kind of weird. Let me double check. Okay. Let's do this now. Take the xylophone. See if we can get all those to play together. Orchidee chimes. That's a good spot for it. Work on that. Let's just do big beats. Match the choir. Ooh, that's where the harp needs to come in. I'll do that next. Some love. See. Now I just got to make sure the cymbals match what's happening in the choir and the orc chimes. So let's try to keep those aligned so it all works together. I like it. Save. What am I looking for? The choir. Sorry. There we go. I don't want to do the doubles yet. I like that for the big drama at the end. Ooh, that's so epic. I love it. And just like kind of ends on this big reverb, right? Cool. I like that. The woodwinds aren't overdoing it. They're just doubling the strings in the fast part. With the xylophone. I'm actually going to turn them down quite a bit so they're not too forward in the mix. know what I'm missing though is tuba. He's not in there at all. So let's get the cello line for the whole thing, which is those two items. Let's put that into the tuba and bass trombones, maybe even the trombones. Uh-oh. What in the world? Let me try that again. Okay, double bass. Actually, no, cello. And let's just do this. Make it easier. Cello needs to go here. And I want the low strings to go here, I think. Okay, now let's see what that feels like. Here at the beginning. Yeah, it feels good. Probably an octave higher. It's basically doubling the timpani. Okay, I guess the velocity has nothing to do with it. It's 100% mod wheel and MIDI volumes. Let's try that again. Yeah. That'll sound cool. Let's get all the low instruments playing at the same time. Just make sure it all feels right. Here. That feels good. No. Guessing this is going to be the big note. Why is nothing happening? There's no sound coming out. Maybe it's just too low. There it is. Yeah, let's do the last note. Low. And then let's take all of that and double it in the bass trombone. Just one bass trombone. Here's what all that sounds like together, soloed. I feel like this would work really well just to go ahead and pop this into trombones. Let that be their line for the whole thing, just an octave higher. Yeah, that feels better. More Star Wars-like. This way, it's important to me to make that each instrument section works on its own. So here's all the brass. so much, Finrix. Oh, that's gonna sound so good. Hear this together. So everything is overpowering. So I'm going to take the entire mix here and drag it down just a little bit. That way the horns can get a little bit of headroom. They're a little quieter. They're 2 dB quieter than I want them to be. So let's try again. There it is. And here's my volume test. Just grab an EQ of any kind. Put it on nothing, like there's no dBs happening, right? But then I can watch how close I am getting to 1. There's 0. It's a nice 6 dB headroom. It still feels loud. I feel like that needs to be held out longer now. Let's just do the full measure. That just feels more appropriate. So let me select everything. Chop the first beat, last beat. It just feels like it needs to happen. Let's go to all of those there and extend everything all the way to the bar. I'm going to pop on my whole note quantizer here. Boom, boom. Now everything should fill the whole measure. Heck yeah. With a nice little reverb tail. That's going to sound so good. Because that one doesn't need a loop. Last thing is the Glock's a little loud. Let's turn it down. Here it comes. Feels perfect. Yay. The only thing left is maybe to add piano. That might be kind of cool. Or orchestral. Check that end. I'm just barely over, so let me do one more volume reduction of everything ever so slightly. It's dead on right there. Cool. Man, I'm done. I'm done with that one. I love it. Do you guys want to get a little sneak peek of another one? I was really wanting to do Meteo next. Think we can handle a little bit of that? Do you guys know that one? It's quite good. Let me do this. Do a little MIDI import action. Have all the originals, all my own MIDIs created here. This one is 150 BPM. Let's just roll with it. Really, all I got to do here is take. We got 22 of these bad boys to do, so have no shortage of work to get done. So I'm going to take this here, just cut it. Let's go to the new Medios number 5 in our track list. So we'll go to 111 here. And the loop out point is 132, like that. And then just go here and post it. So cool. Let's just do it. Love it. Like, I've already done the hard work of making sure everything lines up, so that's why I can do this so fast. So this, I can already tell, is a woodwind line. So let's go ahead and pop that in. Let's see how fast we can do some of this. Definitely flutes. Cool. This is horns. Ah, but there's this in there too. So that should probably be strings. That belongs to the horn line. Sweet. Let's make sure it's all in. You guys know the drill by now. This can also be a trombone. Probably should be. Give him some more volume. Sweet. Definitely needs to go in the tuba. Let's see. There it is. So there's the real line right there. I just kind of decoded it. Take that, put that in the trombones, 1 octave higher, probably octaves, would sound good. Like this. Make sure the pan's not screwed up, which it already is. So this is going to require a bass trombone to hit all those notes. So we'll just pop that in here. We'll just double the tuba. Not sure if you guys are following, but I'm working at lightning speed now. Sweet. And then horns. Just need the double octaves here. Warp speed. Yeah, we also need that. Da-dum. Oops. Cool. So let's make sure that each of these gets that as well, that little final note. Whew, we're rocking and rolling now. Boom, boom, boom. So if we just grab the brass, sounds like this. Oh yeah, bass trombone needs a little bit longer length. Match the tuba. Sweet, now all of them together. And then what we're gonna do is to get that little mod wheel fade in. We're gonna go right here in all of them. Just have a little bit of a mod wheel increase. Okay, real quick, go to each of them. Go to the mod wheel. Takes a little bit of time to get this stuff right, but it's worth it. Same thing, mod wheel. This makes it sound cool. Okay, cool. Goes just a little bit of a little crescendo. Sweet. There it is. Then I really like this line. It should also go in the strings. Totally needs to go in the strings down here in the low strings, but for now let's just kind of pop it into this guy right here. Go. It's gonna sound so cool. Way too loud, of course, but so this guy needs the same kind of treatment where it starts a little bit quieter. And then we'll get a nice curve going. Crank it up. All together. So cool. This is definitely strings, so let's pop that in that same string line. Right here. To survive this without putting into the actual tracks. Right now we're hearing 34 strings instead of 4. That's why it's beefy and cool, but horribly inaccurate. So the secret here is, as annoying as it is, I love that ostinato. It's so interesting. So I'm just going to try my best here to rip out the top half. Oops, see, I already made a mistake. Gotta be careful. Okay. There it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to take that entire chunk, starting here, and we're just going to pop it down into the double bass, but we're going to do 1 octave lower. Oh, interesting. So it sounds like the double basses can't even reach that range. Which is fine. Hear the difference? Totally different than that massive patch that was unrealistic. Orchestral rock. All right. Oh, this is a perfect place for a piano because the piano can hit those low notes that are in the original that are not even possible on the instruments. See, that's one of the downsides. There's a string line in the original which doesn't exist. You can't play it in real life unless you detune your bass beyond a C to like a low B flat or something. It won't even sound good if you could do it. This is one of those prime examples where doubling in real life doesn't always work. Yeah. That's cool. It's like that note got lost. 116, that's a problem. Weird. Got lost in all the tracks. That sounds cool. Perfect time for a piano. Don't mess up that R wing. That's right. These, we gotta make sure everything's up. All right, volume. This is just part of the game here, just kind of getting everything set up. It's a chore, but it's also a lot of fun. So cool. Which also means that this entire cello line is now in the range of the viola, so that would actually be another great way to double this and get even more impact. Sounds good. Ah, but it's a note. Dang it. It's one note too low. I guess I can't do it. All right, so here we clearly have some cymbals. That's an easy transposing here. Let's make sure that they're all, there we go. Another easy transposition. horns here. Excuse me. Cool. Oh, I like this line. That's cool. I love these woodwinds here. Don't quite know what to do with that yet. Uh-oh. I keep messing that up. Hold on. Sounded cool. Right, so boom, 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 boom. That'd be a good clarinet line too. Yeah. Okay, so boom. Let's chop. Oops. Let's chop that note off. Move it down. Cool. Sounding pretty good already. also double well in oboes. Would sound cool being doubled in the strings. So let's see if we can get these in over here. Yeah. It's not as loud. That's awesome. Sounds so good. Alright, we definitely gotta get this. Yeah, I do mix also. I'll be mixing this album. Piano's cool, but it's way too loud from the very beginning. So this. That all needs to be here. Oh, I didn't realize that was there. So that needs to go in trumpet. this needs to be super loud as well. Boryump. So this is just like a rip. Sounded really good. This would be a good one to copy into the legato, into violin 1 and 2, I think. Double this ad nauseum here. Over here in strings. Maybe do it here too, since violas aren't even doing anything. Like that. That'll be strings. You know what? I can double all of this. Double all of this in my strings. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Powerful. So here's what all the strings sound like. So good, or so far. Sorry. Here from the top. Ah, it sounds weak. Let's put that here. is first and seconds. I want to do it a whole octave higher too. Yeah, keep it nice and loud. Dramatic. Might even do a choir rise. That would be super cool too. Ah! That's one of the things I haven't added yet to my template, so that'd be a really good time to add it in right here. Let's grab from City Choir Effects. Let's do a choir rise effects. So my favorite place for that is what is it called? 2D Vox. They go to 24 bits. Actually, let me see what I have already. 24 bits. Let's do core. I've used this a lot in my Dark Dice stuff. So cool. Let's go ahead and pop a 6 dB add. About this kind of stuff. Let's do 2 bars, and let's do like a really big one. Let's do something a little bit more extreme. Glissandi. Let's do. This is one of the coolest libraries of all time. Let's make sure this is in our choir effects chain, which basically just means over here. Just need to put it in Aether 10 or 15 rather, and then let's pop it in. Just scoot it over. Let's find it where it goes. Almost there. Let me line it up with a bar there, and then I'll do a MIDI volume where it starts at 0, but then as soon as the track starts, it'll fade in from 0. If that makes some kind of sense. And then from there, we'll do like that. Oops. It's not loud enough. Perfect. Again. Cool. Here we go. Perfect. Timpani, sorry, it's like the most important instrument. Let's fix the pan. Let me replace this little MIDI doodad with an actual MIDI note. Let's see, it's on a F sharp. Just need my mod wheel right here. Sweet. There it is. Fix. I just found some notes that were not in my harmonies that need to go here. Almost ready too, dang. What's up, Jordan? Right at the best part. It's an E minor. I gotta get my choir back to being centered. So maybe like right here I'll do it. It's part of the gig, working with old MIDI, or at least what I've turned into MIDI. There's a lot of panning in the N64. So if you're just joining us, what's up, Mr. Jordan? I'm working with the original audio sound source from the N64 game. So that just means that all the panning and everything is still in the MIDI data. choir in there. That's it. Let me try again. Oh, I should be doing chords. Sorry. Cool. I love it with choir. It's so fun. Let's get this chord. To stop. So very Karina, what is it? Karina Burana, whatever it is. That very operatic. That's the whole point. Space opera. Let's see if we can nail this. vocals here just from the top. The cool rise. Cool track. Da-dum. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Da-da. All right, friends, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for being a part of this. I can't believe I just got 2 tracks done for the price of 1. Thanks for being a part of all of the fun. 22 of these bad boys to go, so possibly more. So the sooner the better in my eyes to get all these things ready and polished up, ready for the Kickstarter. So if you have not yet followed the campaign, please do so. The link's in the description below. Come follow it. Come be a part. It's going to be a ton of fun putting this together. And I hope to see you a part of these streams as we do more of these in the coming weeks. So thanks a bunch. Have a lovely rest of your week. I know it's Tuesday. It's kind of weird, but yeah. We have a VGMA event tomorrow, and that's why we had to shuffle some things around. So those inside VGMA, hope to see you at the Q&A call tomorrow, 12 o'clock. And for everybody else, stay awesome. Keep working on your stuff, and share with the class sometime with what you're working on. I'd love to hear it.